Good morning, friends. A 2 day story here. Welcome back. So glad that you took some time out in your busy schedule to join me today. This little furry sister here, that's Bella. That's one of my babies. And she decided to join me this morning. So let's get started. Last time we talked, we were talking about the shift and manifesting those dreams, having those things step out of the shadows, step out of the dark places and our secret desires and into the light. Well, today I want to share with you one of the things that I found in my own life that has hindered me. I'll use that word. Has hindered me and caused barriers to form in my life that kind of kept me from really jumping in or doing those things that have really been a thing that I wanted to do, right? Because we do well, but there's also some of us that have deeper dreams, have deeper desires, have deeper places of purpose that we want to live out and fulfill in this life, right? One of the things that I found that has caused me to have to go around the merry-go-round a little bit and try to get off at the next stop or what have you, however we want to use that metaphor, is forgiveness. And I want to talk today about forgiveness of others in the process of forgiving ourselves. So let's get started. Okay. A lot of times we talk about forgiveness as this outward manifestation of pardon, um, reconciliation of relationships and with other people, right? And that type of forgiveness is very necessary. It is very meaningful, and it is something that we have to do as a process of forgiveness. And when we get into talking about forgiveness of others, I've shared a video early on in my series of videos that we talked about forgiveness, but I want to reiterate how forgiveness of others is not about always reconciling the relationship or having that person come back into our lives in the same way that they were in our lives in that moment where there was this break or this ought or error or this wrong, right? Because is required when there is a breach, when there is a fault, when there is an act of violence, when there is a shift in love, joy, compassion, respect, honesty, care, responsibility of that relationship. And what those things do when in relationship to forgiveness with others is cause us to take a step back sometimes. And those steps have to happen in order for us to recognize the the ways in which we behaved as well as with in which the ways that that person behaved as a result of that breach in the relationship that we have, right? So when we talk about forgiveness as it relates to others, that pause and that need for self-reflection and self awareness. What did I do? What were my behaviors? What did I not do? What did I not say? Are very, very, very necessary in order for us to be well as we move forward, as it relates to how we relate to that person or them or those sets of circumstances again. Because a lot of times we talk about forgiveness as it relates to other people and others, but it could be a result of the ways in which we are not being holistically honest with the ways in which we treat ourselves, we honor ourselves, and we engage with others and we react with others. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But when we talk about, hey, Reconciliation as a result of a breach is not always necessary. Forgiveness and reconciliation are not the same thing. And I want to share with you that it is okay to forgive and not reconcile. Because for some of us, the relationships that we have with others do not call for reconciliation. Because if we do reconcile, there has not been a change in behavior on the part of the other person. So there really isn't this growth that is happening as a result of the forgiveness that you've given. Okay. My definition of forgiveness is in part, and I've shared this before. I have it here on my wall. What is forgiveness? Forgiveness is not about the other person. It is about you recognizing that there was something, that there was the breach, right? But there's also not a need to reconcile. There's just the need for an awareness that, hey, this behavior, the way that you're treating me, the things that you said, do not align with me, my sensibilities, the ways that I want to exist in the world, the way that I behave as a person, my own integrity and character. So I forgive the wrong, the error in this moment that we shared or that we experienced. But forgiveness is a relationship too. Forgiveness has to happen in a way for reconciliation to happen, if that's what you choose, that the other person has to acknowledge the wrong, has to hear, receive as information, as whatever those things that you, as a result of this conversation, because yes, there should be a conversation. They have to receive that information in, take that in. And then there has to be some steps for atonement. So let me review that again. There has to be this conversation that happens with the two. There has to be this conscious awareness on the part of the person that you're sharing this information with, in order for that person to atone for that wrong. So think about, if we talk about on a global scale, on a national or global scale, we talk about the Holocaust. Germany as a country had to reconcile the wrong of the people at the time. They had to actively listen to the stories and the experiences of those that those people groups, and all of the terror, all of the horror that they experienced. But that was not enough. There had to be an active apology. And an apology is not, I'm sorry you felt that, right? It is, I hear you. I am aware that I partook in some way or another. Whether I was the active participant or I benefited from that behavior, right? And then there has to be this atonement. This is what I'm going to do moving forward. This is the relationship that we're going to have as a result of my awareness, my verbal acknowledgement of my awareness and apology. But then how are we moving forward? Right? That is the process of forgiveness. Now, remember I said that there is not a need for reconciliation as a result of the awareness, the apology, and the atonement. There's no need. Because even in the atonement, you, as a partaker in that relationship, have the right to say, I appreciate your awareness, your apology, and your atonement. But moving forward, I have to set boundaries. Right? So when we start to think about those relationships breaking down in that way, we have to also look at how forgiveness plays a part with ourselves. Friends, sometimes we don't think about forgiveness in that way, awareness, apology, and atonement, as it relates to us. But the shift that we talk about when we want to manifest our dreams has to accompany us looking back at ourselves and having this moment of forgiveness for ourselves. Friends, in terms of forgiveness and right and wrong or error, and I have some notes here, we have to look at the ways in which we transgress ourselves. We say, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to do, right? And then we, at some point, find ourselves doing, saying, being those things that we promise ourselves for the last time. That's not going to happen. Or there is this level of forgiveness that it involves other people, but we feel within ourselves, girl, you knew better. Man, you already knew you wasn't supposed to be there, right? And that forgiveness has a twofold. Yes, it has something to do with the other person, but the greater level of forgiveness in these circumstances is about ourselves, about the letdown that we feel, the disappointment that we feel in ourselves, the shame and the guilt that we feel within ourselves because we knew better. We should have done better, right? All of that negative self-talk that we say to ourselves when no one else is listening, but we hear it very loud and clear. That's the type of forgiveness that I want to talk about next. And to share a personal story, I've had to endeavor on that type of forgiveness for myself recently. I was in a relationship with someone and I found that I was dishonoring myself because I was not speaking up for myself, because I knew I was in a different level of awareness about me and who I was and what I wanted to be in this next shift in my life. I was acting in fear. I did not want to offend this person. I was caring more for the person than I actually cared about myself and my own needs. And ultimately, I ended up where I knew I was going to end up at the very beginning of this interaction with this person. And I found myself belittling myself for a moment and saying, you knew better. You keep doing the same thing. You're going, right? Negative self-talk. And I had to stop and go back to the moments of where I learned how to talk to myself that way. Yes, I have to forgive myself. But before I can actually truly forgive myself, remember, forgiveness of myself was about awareness, right? We do the awareness, the apology, and the atonement with ourselves as well. So I had to go back to the moment that I learned how to talk crazy to myself. And the more that I thought about it and sat with that, when you started speaking crazy to yourself, Atunde, I was about maybe 6 or 7 years old. And I was just, in the moments of learning how to be a perfectionist. I about between 10 and 12, I had developed this persona of being excellent, of being the perfect kid, being responsible. I'm going to do, I'm going to say, I'm going to be, right? And in the process of developing that part of myself, If I made a mistake, I was hard on myself. Oh, I was so mean to me. You're so stupid. Why are you doing that? You what? You got to be better than that. We can't let others see us as a mistake or as a problem or as a less than this level of what I perceived as a 12-year-old excellence should be, right? Set up straight, right? All of those things that we set as expectations for ourselves. And what I had to do in this moment of becoming aware was just listen. Where did this come from? What did I see in my childhood space that caused me to have a fear that if I was not perfect or excellent, that there would be a lack of maybe love, maybe a lack of validation, maybe a lack of acceptance. And I sat and I journaled and I listened. And with gaining that awareness of, first of all, where it came from, right? Because you can't fix a problem if you don't know the source. So I had to go back to the source of my problem, which was this need to be validated, to be accepted, to be reassured, right? Because that's what came out of my own particular awareness. So once I was aware of those things, I had to turn around and take my 6-year-old self and my 12-year-old self and hold the two of them by the hand and apologize to them and say, baby, I am so sorry for letting you believe that you were not enough, just as you were. Now, somebody needs to take a breath. And I'm going to pause for you to take a deep breath. I had to take them by the hand and say, baby, I am so sorry that the people around you did not see that they needed to show you, because maybe they were not even aware that you needed to hear that it's okay. You spilled the flour, right? While you were trying to make this dinner, right? Because I was cooking at 12. Don't play no games, right? Trying to make the perfect, whatever that thing is, or the project, or the best grade. I had to take them by the hand and say, hey, I am so sorry. You are enough. You were okay, and you still are. Because we have to be able to apologize to ourselves for the ways in which we believe about ourselves. I'm going to say that again. We have to be aware enough, right, to apologize to ourselves. Not all the time we can go back and get the apology from those others. Remember, we just talked about people in relationships and these interactions. And sometimes it's not even necessary. I was strong enough in the moment when I sought out the awareness of where the root of that came from to be able to let go of people outside of my own need to apologize, because my apology was enough. And the more that I became aware and forgave myself in the act of apologizing and saying that I was enough and it was okay, I forgive you. Please forgive me. It's a relationship, because you have a relationship with your former self, with your past self, that you are the only person accountable for and to. that relationship. So that's why forgiveness of yourself is about you. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It's about you grabbing a hold of your little baby girl or your little baby boy and giving them the best bear hug that you thought you needed and you knew you did. Pulling them in close, squeezing them tight, kiss their forehead. It's okay, baby. I got you. We're okay. That type of awareness and apology, 9 times out of 10, will cause you to release the self-deprecating deprivation, the self-hate that we secretly hold for ourselves, that we have not the strength or courage to acknowledge. But I'm here to share with you that it is very possible for you to be okay with forgiving yourself. I give you permission. Trust me, it's worth it. Because without the awareness and without the apology from you to you, we don't get to atone. And that's the part that we always ring in our head. I'm going to do better next time. You're not going to do better if you don't fix and be aware. The fixing is about the apology. And the awareness helps you to atone, helps you to set the boundaries, helps you to keep the borders strong. Because for me, my thing was about being approved by and validated from, in certain places, other people. But when I apologized to me, I took the power back from them and placed it back in my own hands. So when atonement is about the shift, what am I going to do differently? How am I going to do this better in order for my wellness? I was able to hold myself to that level of atonement. And now I'm all reconciled within myself. I don't need nobody else because I got me and we going on. That's about the reconciling that we need to do in order for us to manifest our dreams, friends. Yes, you are who you think you are, who you say you are, who you dream you are, who you know yourself to be. But we can't build over bull crap. And the bull crap, and I know some of y'all saying some other words, have at it. That's your prerogative. You grown. Or whatever, however you talk to you to validate yourself, I encourage you. But you can't build over it. You got to clear it. You got to become aware. This is why I do what I do. I ain't never run. Why am I with? Go back. For most of us, it is in the childhood moments. For me, my greatest level of awarenesses is me going back to little 6, little 12, and sometimes 18. But for the most part, my secrets, my secret joy, as well as sometimes my secret pain, dwells in those 2 places. And what I've also become aware of is that my 12-year-old self had manifested into an adult version of myself, which is like my 25-year-old self, because she was grown enough to do the mistakes of my 12-year-old self. So those awarenesses come from different time, places in my life. You have to explore that for yourself. But it is possible for you to be well on this journey, in this life, in this lifetime, in these moments. But you have to get to a place where you start to forgive you. And I will venture to say that sometimes, just sometimes, That act of forgiveness of yourself will release you from the need to confront someone else. Friends, that's all I have for you today. I am sharing with some of you virtually. I have a video up talking about euphoria, lifestyle, and wellness. Friends, get in. Now, this is my leadership manual, my teacher's manual rather, but we here. I've expanded my company. I do my YouTubes with you all, loving on that. But I'm also being asked to do and being called upon because I understand more in depth what my purpose is to motivate you to yours. I'm holding wellness classes and I started my business and I'm proud of me because this is a dream, manifesting the dreams. So this is Euphoria, Lifestyle and Wellness. And what I've decided to do in this first iteration of the process, I've created a class. It's a 6-week training class to help you develop as a wellness ambassador. And yesterday was my first session with my first group, and it was amazing. The 8-10 people that were here, and I have to keep it small because we're in the cottage. We'll bring it to a larger space in January. Is going to be the second session in person for those of you that are closer to me. But I want to offer this to some of you in the first session virtually, have it in a smaller group, and then as we grow, we'll have larger groups in these sessions. So, wellness, like we talk about, is not a destination. It is a journey. And through my company, Euphoria, I teach you and help you, guide you towards your own process of wellness. And what we do is talk through what are some of the strategies that you can develop in order to be well and to maintain that level of awareness to your wellness. Because here's the thing, what makes me well may not necessarily work for you or your spouse or your kids or your mom or that closest person to you, because wellness is a personal journey. So what I do is I help those of you that come through my program develop your own mechanisms of wellness. We also talk about those of you that have that thing. You know, I am a person that I understand. I help people explode in their lives. And what I mean by that, I help you blow up the thing that you've been hiding that is for the good and the wellness of us all. Whether your thing is being a caterer, you got a business where you're a notary and you know how to do all the paperwork that nobody else know how to do, or you do t-shirts, whatever that thing is, or you want to be a neuropsychologist and you know you got to get the training, right? I can't do that part for you, but I sure can sit and help you develop a business that is going to revolutionize your little corner of the world. I've been great at doing that kind of work, speaking life into your dreams. That's what I do. Helping you become well. That's what I know how to do. So, if you are interested in becoming one of the first virtual class members, virtual participants with Euphoria, I'm going to put in the description my email, and I'll tell you now. It is atundestory@gmail.com. I got my email, but I also got my website, and you can find me there. That's also in the description. But atundestory@gmail.com. If this is for you and you like, Atunde, listen, girl, I have this business. It's all floating over my head. Can you help me nail it down? Come on through, friend. I got you. That's what we do here. Help motivate you to your purpose. That's my gift. I want to help you put your gift in the world. So we'll see you next time. I'm so glad that you came to share this. Looks like 30 minutes on this timer here. I am appreciative. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so, so, so much. I see you. I hear you. I appreciate your comments. You help me be well. Like, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you are one of the first to know. Oh, my friend to put up another video. Here you go. I got you. We're going to check in again real soon. Until then, I'm Matunde, and this has been my story. Have a great day, friends. See you soon.